my parents were teachers, which is a noble profession, everyone says.
Art 101 with Mr. Burgher.
Scholars, welcome back to Art 101 with me, Mr. Burgher. I'm a professional artist and master educator who's going to attempt to provide you with the best in art historical content. If you think about it, hit your fancy, follow along. We'd love to have you.
Oh, Berto, buddy, we're all ready to paint. This is going to be so great.
Now, right here on Art 101 with me, Mr. Burgher, you can find episodes talking about Thomas Hart Benton and Norman Rockwell. They have some very strong views and opinions of what art is, what art isn't, what is fine art, what is illustrative, what are their roles in the art world. Some of that link up. Some of that is a little bit contradictory. Here's what Norman Rockwell had to say.
I'm very fond of Burgher. He's one of my favorite of the great painters. I call this Saturday night, maybe you can't see it very well, but it's they're going to a square dance, to my mind. He's a great painter, one of the fine arts painters. Mm-hmm. See, I'm not a fine arts painter. I'm an illustrator. I illustrate stories to magazine covers. This is quite different from a painter.
That's a very important point with you, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Well, that doesn't make you any less serious, though, about your work than a fine arts painter, does it?
I think I work as hard as Burgher worked, but it doesn't come out fine arts. It comes out illustration,
Speaking about seriousness, Norman, I recall that somebody told me, is this true, that back at school, at art school, you were called the deacon?
Yeah, because I was, art school is full of a lot of, gay birds, and I was a kind of a serious guy, and they called me the deacon.
So you deserved the title, huh?
Yeah, I earned it.
Now, fortunately, I think that our scope and our opinion of what is art and what isn't art has really gotten more broad over the years. And so Norman Rockwell, although he viewed himself a certain way in the art world, really was a regionalist. I think that most of us can agree that he was an important artist in his own right.
One more time, mate. I'll take you to cleaner.
Language!
Thomas Hart Benton. Now, he had some opinions about Rockwell. He had some opinions about art. Here's what he had to say.
The advertising arts are not likely to be art. Those are simply propaganda arts. And form is not necessary for them because they don't have to last anyhow. Now, I think that Norman Rockwell is a very able person, and I think he is a very good American. He makes pictures of America that are very interesting. But he has never bothered himself with attempting to make a form that would be a permanent form of any of these things. They are more or less like something like a photograph. They're a little better than a photograph because they carry more meaning.
Are they a little sentimentalized, romantic?
Well, that's all right. I see no particular objection to sentimental art. What would you want? Look at Boucher, the French painter, and Fragonard, and Watteau. Who could be more sentimental than Watteau? And look at those beautiful paintings that he made. It's the way you do it. And also, it's the unity of the structure. Now, when I say that, that makes me sound like an abstractionist myself, but I am to that extent that I know that unless I have a form in which all those parts are unified as form, that isn't going to stand up as a work of art. And that makes the difference between illustration and painting proper.
In the end, I don't believe there's any sort of beef or conflict between the two. I think they were on the same page, but I think there are a lot of people that would disagree with the way the world is today with the views that were stated several decades ago. What do you have to say? Leave me a comment. Take a look at the other videos and let's come to some modern day conclusions. It's just for fun. So, do that and we'll see you on the next one. I appreciate you coming along for the ride. We'll see you soon.
But art is a mirror. A mirror. That's hard to say. Art is a mirror, often truthier than the truth.